If Udoka hadn't opened the bedroom door that morning, no one would have believed her absence. The street outside buzzed with leftover wedding joy, generators humming, neighbors sweeping confetti from compound gates, hangover yawns drifting across balconies in Zaram Estate, one of the more expensive parts of Boga town. But inside apartment 3C, something had gone terribly wrong. Oma, his bride of less than 12 hours, was missing. Not just missing, vanished. Her wedding gown lay folded at the edge of the bed, her shoes tucked neatly in the corner. No signs of struggle, no smashed windows, no note. Her side of the bed, cold, almost untouched. Udoka stood shirtless in disbelief, beads of sweat running down his temple. He had woken up alone, completely alone. He searched the bathroom, the kitchen, the balcony. Nothing. He asked the gateman if she had left. "Oga, I never see her come out," he said, confused. His voice shook as he dialed her number. "The number you are trying to reach is switched off." Again, again, again. He called his best man, his mother, her aunt. Nobody had seen her. Nobody knew anything. And that was when fear began to replace confusion for hours. Earlier, it had been the kind of wedding that got reposted by gossip blogs. Billionaire blacksmith's son marries enigmatic beauty in private town ceremony. The photos were everywhere. Oma's dress sparkled like raindrops on moonlight. Her smile, soft, serene, distant. She had only been in Boga town for 3 months, yet she had captivated everyone. Too perfect, too quiet. Her story was shaky. She said she was an orphan, raised in Daku City, but came to town to start over. She had no friends, no verified relatives. Just one woman, Madame Victoria, who claimed to be her distant aunt. Udoka's mother, Madame Peace, never liked her. "Pretty girls with no roots are like perfumes without labels," she once said. "You don't know whether to keep them or throw them away." But Udoka didn't care. He was in love and addicted in it. He once cancelled an international business trip because Oma said she had a dream where he boarded a plane and never came back. "She's my joy and happiness," he used to say. Now she was gone. Just like that. Same morning, 9:47 a.m. At the police station, Udoka's report was met with slow and lukewarm interest. The officer in charge, Inspector Awele, narrowed her eyes. "So she didn't leave a note? Take anything? No signs of a fight?" "Nothing," Udoka said. "It's like she just evaporated." Inspector Awele leaned back. "Do you know her next of kin?" "No." "What about her village?" "She never said." "Her surname?" "Just Oma. No last name." The room went silent. "You married a woman with no surname?" Udoka's jaw clenched. "Are you going to help me or insult me?" Inspector Awele stood. "We'll open a file, but if you ask me, this sounds less like a crime and more like a haunting." Udoka stared at her. "What do you mean?" Awele shrugged. "People don't just vanish, Miss Udoka, unless they were never fully here." That night, Udoka returned to their apartment alone. But as he stepped into the bedroom, the lights flickered. The mirror fogged up by itself. And on the glass, something began to appear. A message written in invisible mist. "You were never supposed to touch me." Udoka staggered back from the mirror. His breath caught in his throat as the message slowly faded. "You were never supposed to touch me." He wiped the glass with a shaking palm. Nothing. Just his own reflection, staring back, hollow-eyed and lost. He didn't sleep that night. The next morning, Udoka returned to Inspector Awele's office, this time with his mother, Madam Peace, who was already on the warpath. "My son is not mad," she barked. "That girl is a witch, and someone brought her into this family to destroy us." Inspector Awele stayed calm, but her fingers tapped the desk. "Let's take this step by step. You said Oma came into your life through a woman named Madam Victoria?" Udoka nodded. "Where can we find her?" "She owns a hair salon in Old Ogu Road. That's where they first met." By 11 a.m., Awele, Udoka, and a constable were standing in front of the salon, only to find the signboard removed, the door chained, and a piece of paper fluttering on the floor inside. Awele bent, squinted through the glass, and frowned. "What is it?" Udoka asked. She said nothing, just motioned for the constable to break the door. Inside, the place was cold. Too cold. It smelled of dust, expired relaxers, and something else. Something old and sour, like forgotten grief. On the paper was a list, handwritten in red ink. A list of brides. One name per year. 2016, 2017, 2018. The last name on the list, Oma 2024. And beside it, scribbled in shaky cursive, "Let the cycle end." Meanwhile, in a nearby compound, a neighbor named Isioma, a sharp-tongued fashion designer who lived in flat 3B, finally spoke up. "I didn't want to get involved," she told Madam Peace that afternoon, "but strange things have been happening in that flat since that girl moved in." "What do you mean strange?" Isioma folded her arms. "Every night around midnight, I hear her talking to someone, whispering, sometimes humming, but only one voice replies." "What kind of voice?" Isioma shuddered. "It's not human." That night, Udoka couldn't bear the silence of the apartment. He picked up the wedding camera left untouched on the TV shelf. "Maybe there's something, anything," he muttered. He powered it on, scrolled past clips of dancing guests, his wide grin, Oma's unreadable smile. Then he found something he didn't remember recording. A video dated 3 days before the wedding. Oma sat alone in the dark, candlelit, her eyes swollen from crying. She spoke.
"Forgive me, spirits of my ancestors. I swore I would not return to this life. But he was kind, he touched my soul. I forgot the price. But the deal stands. Once I am about being touched, I must return. And he must forget me or suffer."
She leaned forward, looking directly into the camera.
"Udoka, if you're watching this, run. Run for your life."
The camera screen suddenly glitched, lines of static ran across it. But just before it went black, one frame remained. Oma, floating inches above the bed, her eyes glowing white. Udoka dropped the camera. From the kitchen, a spoon clattered to the floor. He was not alone in the apartment. Udoka turned toward the kitchen slowly, his heartbeat pounding in his ears like village drums at a burial. Another sound, a whisper. "You should have forgotten me." He grabbed the nearest object, a pestle, stepping into the kitchen like a soldier facing execution. But it was empty, only the spoon on the floor. Then the apartment lights blinked once, twice, and went out completely. The air grew heavy, like the walls themselves were closing in. And from the hallway, her voice floated again, faint but sharp. "You loved what you were never meant to touch." Udoka ran. He didn't stop until he was back at Inspector Awele's office, sweating, shaking, broken. "I need help. Spiritual help. This isn't just police work," he stammered. Awele looked at him for a long time. Then she reached into her drawer and slid a small brown card across the desk. Ukandu Ogo, diviner. Don't ask me how I got to know him, just go. The next day, Udoka drove out of Boga, past the noise of town life, into the forgotten edge of Ngobo Hills. There, in a grove surrounded by dry Iroko trees and scattered bones of sacrificial birds, sat Ukandu Ogo, a blind diviner wrapped in faded white wrappers, his eyes like misted glass. I have seen your kind, he said before Udoka even spoke. Men who love ghosts, men who marry women meant to remain dead. Udoka dropped to his knees. Tell me the truth. Who, what, is Oma? Ukandu's face hardened. She was a bride once, decades ago, forced to marry an elderly chief she did not love. She took her life the night of the wedding, but her spirit never left. Udoka's throat closed. Every 7 years, she is reborn through a pact, always appearing beautiful, alone, and mysterious. She chooses a man, cares for him, and then disappears after the wedding night. Always. So why me? Ukandu tilted his head. Because you were kind to her soul. You gave her the one thing no man ever did. Freedom of choice. That love pulled her further into this world, but it also endangered you. Udoka clenched his fists. How do I break it? Ukandu pointed to a calabash beside a flickering fire. Inside was a small mirror, a charred feather, and a wedding ring glowing faintly. Place your hand over it. You must return to the place you last saw her. Burn the memory of her. Destroy the ring. But most importantly, he leaned in. You must not cry. If even one tear falls, the bond will never be broken. And the curse will fall on your head. And the consequences, your life will be taken. That night Udoka sat alone in Zaram Estate, in the bedroom where he last saw Oma. He lit a fire in a small metal basin, placed the ring inside, her wedding photo, the dress. The fire rose, and then she appeared. Oma, same beauty, same sad eyes. Please, she whispered, don't let me go. You're the only one who ever made me feel alive. Tears welled up in Udoka's eyes, but it dared not drop at this stage. Don't cry, he muttered to himself. Don't cry. Oma stepped closer. I can stay. Just don't burn it. Don't forget me. The flames kissed the edge of the photograph. A tear escaped. Too late. Wind burst through the air. The fire roared unnaturally high. Oma screamed, not in fear, but in pain, as if being torn from the world itself. Her face cracked like porcelain. Her arms melted into mist. The room top began to rumble. Then, silence. The next morning, Udoka was found unconscious in the room, dehydrated, ringless, speechless. He recovered, but he never spoke of her again. Not to the press, not to Inspector Owl, not even to his mother. But sometimes, when it rains at night in Boga Town, neighbors say they always hear footsteps in his apartment, soft, barefoot, walking towards his balcony. This story is from Motherland Tales, and the moral of this story is that we should try and know who our friends and our life partners are beforehand. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit that subscribe button, like and leave a comment, as we have got some more videos on the way, which we think you are really going to enjoy. Thanks for watching. See you in our next video.